Hello, brothers and sisters of the church. I wanted to share with you today, kind of continuing with the theme as I've been talking about saying yes to God and being faithful where He's placed us. I want us to look at another important truth today. You know, in Exodus chapter 36, the Lord's giving the instruction to the workers who He has prepared for the building of the tabernacle and the implements that will be in it. And He says, let me just read a few of these verses. He says, and every skilled person in whom the Lord has put skill and understanding to know how to perform all the work. And then it says, and shall perform in accordance with all that the Lord has commanded. You know, God's not only placed us where He wants us to minister, but He's also equipped us with the tools for that ministry. And you might say, well, I don't have the physical tools, but we don't need the physical tools. We need the spiritual gifts that He's given us. And, you know, somebody could say, well, I have a spiritual gift of this and I have a spiritual gift of that. But if you're not using them, then it's a stagnant gift. And God didn't give us the abilities and the gifts to not use them, to not put them to work. You know, when God instructed Israel how to build the tabernacle, He did not simply give them a command. He gave them the skills to carry it out. He gave them the very tools and direction that was needed. He's given us those tools and He's given us those skills, and we need to put them to work. You know, in other words, the assignment, it came with provision. The same is true today. And I want you to just think of these things. God has given each believer abilities, experiences, resources, spiritual gifts, and opportunities. You know, there's a lot of opportunities around us. But what do you do? Do you seize that moment? Do you work within that opportunity? Do you volunteer? When you hear that there's a need, are you saying, you know, I have an ability to do that? Sometimes I think of at the Life Center, we say, I just sometimes need people to come and sit with children. A lot of people are skilled for that because when the children have someone sitting among them, an adult especially, it changes the atmosphere and they listen more to the message. Sometimes that's all that's needed. Sometimes you need people who are faithful to really just look around and see what needs to happen and step in and fill that need. Uh, you know, in ministry, and this is whether you're a pastor or whether you are a congregation member, you know, there's ministry all around us and there's needs all around us. Gifts are not given to be admired. They are given to be used. And I want you to think about that today. A tool left on a shelf accomplishes nothing. I'm sitting in a room full of tools. You know, sometimes there's tools that I have on my pegboard that they don't go used for a long time. Sometimes I even forget about them, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I need that tool. I have the very tool that I need, and I'm very thankful that I have that tool. And it's a joy sometimes to pull that tool off the shelf and use it. Let's not let our gifts that the Lord's given us, though, become dusty, rusty, and unused. Let's put them to work. Some can teach, some can give, some can organize, some can encourage, and some can serve quietly behind the scenes. Tonight, I'm at the Life Center, and I was needing to cook something and thaw it out in the microwave. And when I opened up the microwave, it was so clean on the inside, it looked like it was brand new. I don't remember it being that clean before. Somebody obviously came in and put a little elbow grease in there and cleaned it up. And I noticed that, and I was thankful for that. By the end of the night, it may not be that clean anymore, but I tell you, there's little things sometimes that some people don't even think about, but there's little things that are done, and we don't have to bring attention to it. Nobody ever came and told me, hey, I cleaned y'all's microwave for you. You know, it says God rewards those things that are done in secret. Well, brothers and sisters, I hope and pray that your day is going well, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Till then, God bless.